Hello, everyone. In this short video, I would like to share with you some information about the path goal theory of leadership. And the majority of the content in this video comes from Peter Northouse's book, Leadership Theory and Practice. But I have an outline that we're going to follow, provide a short description of the theory. We're going to look at different leadership behaviors. Then we're going to look at followers' characteristics. Then we add another element to this theory, task characteristics. And we're going to look how it works. We'll have an activity for you to complete and then some lessons learned. So path goal theory was developed to answer the criticisms of the behavioral approach to leadership. If you recall from our discussion on behavioral approach, we mentioned that one of the criticism was that leaders couldn't really address the situational aspects of leadership. So this is another situational contingency theory that was developed by House and colleagues in 1974. It had multiple iterations after that. But if you recall, when we discussed the situational leadership, we stated that, or Percy and Blanchard stated that leaders should choose a specific style of leadership based on the competence and commitment of followers. So that was another situational approach to leadership. The path goal theory suggests that the chosen leadership style should be based on follower characteristics, focusing on personality and organizational setting, or the tasks that need to be accomplished. So based on those characteristics, a leader would choose this style of leadership. Here you have a basic idea behind the path goal theory. So you have an image here. You see that you have on one end followers, and on the other end you have the goals that need to be achieved, and you have a path there. Unfortunately, the path is not always straight. So quite often, followers would encounter obstacles on the journey to achieve the goals. So that's where the role of a leader comes into play. So the role of a leader here is to remove all of those obstacles and then to ensure that followers are progressing successfully towards goal achievement. Some of the roles that leaders could play here is to define the goals, make sure that followers understand the goals that have to achieve, have to clarify the path, remove obstacles, and provide support. So think about the American football role of a fullback. So the role of fullback is to clear the path for the running back to run the ball. That's the role of a leader from the path goal theory perspective, is to clarify the path, or to clear the path so the followers will achieve the goals. So another aspect of this theory that is different from other theories is that the motivation is a central component of this theory. So the role of a leader is to motivate followers and clear the path for goal achievement. Motivation here, it's based on Vroom's expectancy theory of motivation. And I added the formula right here that motivation, it's a product of expectancy, instrumentality, and valence. And expectancy, when you think about expectancy, do followers believe that they have what it takes in order to perform the job? So do they have the skills, and do they believe that if they're going to exert the effort, are going to succeed? Instrumentality, do followers believe that their effort will result in a certain outcome? So if I'm going to work hard, am I going to achieve the goal? And if I'm going to achieve the goal, is there some type of payoff or reward for achieving that goal? And do I value it? And so those are the three elements of the expectancy theory of motivation. So from the path goal perspective, the role of a leader is to understand whether the followers indeed have what it takes. Do they have the skills, knowledge, and abilities? And do they believe that if they're going to work hard, they're going to achieve the goal? And if they achieve the goal, they're going to be rewarded, and they value those rewards. So for example, let's think about a college student. They're studying leadership. So let's apply this theory. So a student will, I would think, if I'm going to study very hard for the next exam, then I'm going to do well on the exam. If I'm going to do well on the exam, I'm going to get an A. And an A, it's very important to me because I will be on the dean's list or president's list, and my academic scholarship is dependent on my GPA. So that's a simplified application of the expectancy theory. So here are the major components of the path goal theory. So see at the bottom here, we have subordinates on one end, and we have goals on the other, and motivation, it's in the middle there. So the role of a leader is to make sure that understand the other contingencies that impact motivation, and to ensure that subordinates are motivated in order to work toward goal achievement. So as I mentioned earlier, leaders must understand the tasks that followers are completing, some aspects of the personality of characteristics, and based on that, they will engage in these 4 types of behaviors: directive, supportive, participative, and achievement-oriented. So let's look at a description on each of these types of behavior. So there are 4 distinct leader behaviors that House and colleagues identify. The first one is directive. So when we talk about directive style, in this style, a leader will focus on helping followers achieve goals. So providing them with directions, clarifying expectations, setting timelines, setting rules and regulations. In other words, is to provide as much structure as possible and eliminate ambiguity. The second one, it's supportive. The supportive style, the role of a leader is to create an environment that it's welcoming and supportive and nurturing. So the leader should try to understand the needs of followers, providing them support, listening to their input, and showing empathy, individualized consideration. Participative, it's the style that invites followers to participate in decision-making. So the leader here will empower individuals to be engaged in decision-making. And then achievement-oriented is a style where a leader will challenge followers to perform at their highest level. So they tend to establish high levels of performance and challenge them to engage in continuous improvement. So provide them with showing confidence in them. So anything that will challenge followers in order to push themselves to a higher level of performance. So those are the 4 styles of leadership. And then compared to the situational leadership by Hershey and Blanchard, that goal focuses on the personality characteristics of followers. So one is the need for affiliation. So understanding where followers score on the needs for affiliation. So for example, those individuals who want to be around other people, or in other words, score high and need for affiliation, they need more of a supportive style. Those individuals who tend to be more dogmatic, more authoritarian, when performing especially on certain tasks, they will need more directive style. Those individuals who have an internal locus of control need more of a participative style. And those with the external locus of control need more of a directive style. And then the last one is more of that self-efficacy aspect. The individuals with a low self-efficacy require more of a directive style, so providing them with more structure, while high self-efficacy individuals require more participative. They want to be to have a say in what's going on. So those are the 4 characteristics from a personality perspective. And the next one is the task characteristics. So here is the kind of the path theory with all 3 elements. So we have on the left column, we have the 4 leadership style. In the middle, we have the follower characteristics. And the third column here, we have task characteristics. So for an individual who's dogmatic and authoritarian, who performs ambiguous tasks where there are very few rules and they are complex, they will need a directive style. For those individuals who need affiliation, they need to be around other people, and they do this boring tasks. Sometimes they are mundane, they're repetitive, and they will need more support. So supportive style will be more appropriate. Individuals who are autonomous, they have a high need for control, so internal locus of control, and they perform ambiguous, unclear, and unstructured tasks. They would need more of a participative style of leadership. And then those individuals who have a high need for achievement, and they have high expectations for themselves and perform complex, challenging tasks. Usually they are driven by those type of environments. They would require an achievement-oriented leadership style. So here I have an activity for you. I would like for you to identify the styles that you would choose for each of the 4 scenarios, and then write them below this video. So the first one, an employee works in an environment where there are very few rules to complete tasks, and tasks are complex. This employee also scored low on openness to new experience. So write down what a leadership style would be most appropriate. The second one, a college graduate was hired by a company that has a highly innovative culture. Employees have to complete challenging and complex tasks. This graduate chose this company because she completed an assessment in college and scored high on needs for achievement. So choose the style that you would use to work with this employee. And number 3, an employee works for an insurance company in the claims department. There are clear rules on how to process claims, and employees can refer to a training manual when they encounter a problem. The employee took a need for affiliation assessment and scored very high. And the last one, another college graduate was hired by a company that has an entrepreneurial environment where change is constant. You will have to complete different tasks that in many cases are ambiguous. During the interview, he told the interviewers that he took an assessment in college and scored high on internal locus of control and autonomy. So again, you have 4 scenarios. For each of them will require individualized leadership style. So write them below this video in the comment section. And so the last section here, are the lessons learned and how the theory works. So number 1, leaders must be aware of the tasks that followers need to accomplish. So clearly identify what are the goals here and what type of tasks they have to complete. And then they have to understand also the personality characteristics of the followers. So the role of a leader, it's after understanding these 2 elements, is to remove the obstacles on the path of the followers to achieve their goals. In other words, to increase motivation and that environment. So create motivation for goal achievement. So number 1, how do we do that? We ensure that followers have the skills to accomplish the goals. So do they have that high degree of self-efficacy? Do they have KSA, knowledge, skills, and abilities to perform the tasks required to achieve the goal? Again, followers must believe that the effort are going to lead to some type of outcome. So you have to, as a leader, you have to really be clear in your communication and set the right expectation and clarify if you're going to exert this effort, you're going to achieve this type of outcome, then these are the payout that you're going to receive. And then understand whether followers value the reward, because for somebody who, let's say it's a single parent, maybe a few weeks of vacation would be more important to spend with their kids than a person who is single, and maybe a bonus will be more welcome. So understanding what people value, that's what the variance from the formula of Brom's expectancy theory of motivation comes into play. I think that's it for now. Please write any questions that you have in the comments. Thank you.